Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. A few weeks ago, or I think 2 weeks ago, I made a video about this woman on TikTok who is a mother of estranged children, or as she likes to say, ungrateful little bastards. And I said that she had a Facebook page, and I asked if you would be interested in me going through the Facebook page, and it was an overwhelming yes. A lot of you were asking me to please go through this Facebook page and have a look at just a bunch of other estranged parents and what they're saying about their ungrateful little bastards. And so I thought that I would do that. I got my fun little burner account where I am a white middle-aged Christian woman from Austin, Texas, and I joined the group. I was accepted, and then I spent the day going through and scrolling and finding all the posts and just sitting there being like, oh my god, these people hate their kids. I spent the good part of the day just being kind of shocked at some of the things these parents were saying, and I wanted to share that with you. So we are going to have a look at just the way some parents act, their side of the story with zero context at all for the situation. And yeah, that is what we are going to do today. And first though, I would like to talk to you about the future of my channel. As you know, recently I have increased my uploads from twice a week to 3 times a week. That is because I want to continue doing this full time. I love this job. I love making videos. I love putting content out for you, and I don't want to stop doing that. But unfortunately, I am a victim of the YouTube algorithm. I am a slave to the algorithm. And because I talk about a lot of sensitive topics on this channel, YouTube really likes to hold my videos back and keep it out of the algorithm and stops showing it to a lot of people. And that has had a very negative impact on the channel in the past year, especially. In order to help with my finances and just being able to continue doing this, I do have a Patreon. It starts at as little as £1 a month, and currently it is actually 25% off for my 25th birthday using code birthday25, all caps. Any support over there helps greatly. However, I understand that not everyone is able to give financially. It's a difficult time for everyone, and I completely understand that that is not an option for a lot of people. So a way to help support me that is free is if you like, comment, and subscribe. And I know I say that a lot, but what it means basically is like when you like one of my videos, it is telling YouTube that you like the video, which then puts it out and helps show it to more people. If you comment on it, it does the same thing, but to a greater extent. And then if you subscribe, it tells YouTube that people are wanting to continue to watch my videos and they're going to come back, and that helps, obviously, people come in and watch my videos more times and see more of my videos, and also helps push it to new people as well. I am trying to hit 500k subscribers by the end of the year. That would be brilliant, amazing, and it's completely plausible if you do help out. So if you are not subscribed, please do subscribe. Help me hit 500k by the end of the year. I am so sorry to sit here and just like self-promote like this. I always feel really weird doing it, but I just thought it was important to be a bit honest and a bit vulnerable. It's been difficult. I'm very creatively burnt out, and I just would like to be able to increase the quality in the videos I do and decrease the uploads so I can have that sort of balance of quality and quantity that I've had to lose a little bit recently. Yeah, anyway, enough talking about myself. Thank you for listening. Thank you for support. And yeah, let's get back into it. Okay. First, we have this post that just says, I was watching a video about how difficult and hurtful it is for the adult child to decide to go no contact with their mother, that they are in great pain with their decision. Am I evil or bad to think, good, I'm glad I'm not the only one suffering here. I mean, this estrangement was their idea, not mine. I wanted to resolve any differences, not turn my back on them. Maybe this part of my angry stage of healing, but I just want them to understand this pain. They stopped talking to you because they were already hurting. They've been hurting for years. You haven't been hurting, but you have been causing them hurt for a long time. And then they go through the hurtful decision to stop talking to you to alleviate their pain. Yeah, they're not like doing this deliberately to inflict pain on you. You've just been called out on your actions and are no longer able to do these things that are hurting them, and you're hurt by it. Like, yeah, you didn't choose to go estranged, but you are the reason that it happened. You are the one who pushed them to this point and forced this decision to happen. Like, you had the ability to make this not happen. You had the time to fix it. You had the chance to make it right. You didn't do it, so they stopped talking to you. They made that very difficult decision after giving you their entire life to, you know, be a good parent, and you didn't. So here we are. You deserve the pain because you brought pain to them for probably most of their lives. It's so funny that these parents like don't seem to realize that. It's like they don't acknowledge any pain or any consequences of their actions, like until it comes and hurts them back, until their kids like stick up for themselves, and then suddenly like they're a victim. Like they've been abusing their power for years, and then when they're called out on it, they're like, how dare you? That hurts. I hope you suffer. They already have been. They already have been, and it's been your fault. Consequences of your own actions. This woman posted 2 things, but they're like back-to-back related to each other. Okay, I'm back from Pettyville TikTok. I've spent the day trolling Laura Wellington trolls. Laura Wellington is the like creator of this group. She's the one who I made my video about a couple weeks ago. I must admit, it's been therapeutic watching them get triggered by simply asking what's wrong with your hair. These trolls aren't wrapped tight at all. I'll repent later. 10 points for Team Mamas. And then she posted photos of it. Saying, you know, okay, mamas, I'm back from Pettyville again. Go to Laura's TikTok and be mother to these adults' babies with me. Let's try their virtual moms. I threw a no in there for one of our other moms in the group. These are some of the comments that she left because, you know, she's so mature. This is a very mature, grown adult. This is someone who's old enough to have adult children. Like, keep that in mind. She's old enough to have children who no longer speak to her. And this is how the comments go. So people comment on Doormat Mom, original Doormat Mom's videos, things like, do you understand accountability? And this woman replies, go do your laundry. You still give me the heebie-jeebies. Go clean your room. A good parent doesn't do public bashing crusades of their adult children, all the while chanting, I'm a good parent. Go sweep the kitchen floor and do those dishes. The narcissistic parent will take your language, your therapy, your platforms, and use them against you. This is the true definition of gaslighting used to gain power and control over another person. Go walk the dog. I do know the difference. That's why I don't talk to my mom. Very manipulative, very controlling, but like you, she's the victim. No! So mature. So mature. We love people in the comments giving very valid criticism, being like, hey, what you're saying is like super manipulative. You're actually not a good person. Stop playing the victim. Stop harming your children. Stop blaming them for all of your problems, and like sharing experiences and like actual valid things. And this woman coming in and being like, clean your room. Like, and then she's like, it's so funny. They're so wound so tight. They're so fragile. They get so mad when I act like their mother in the replies. It's like, that's because you look 5 years old. What is wrong with you? What went through your head to make you do this? How do you think that you look good in this situation? How do you think at all that anyone is taking you seriously? The fact that like any of these women are on your side and think this is funny says so much about them. Like, I understand why your kids don't talk to you. Like, if you are out here just invalidating people's pain and invalidating their experiences with their parents by like laughing at them and telling them to clean their room and like calling them children and like infantilizing them, yeah. Gee, I wonder why your kids don't talk to you. Look in a mirror, ma'am. Like, oh my God. How are you so blind to like any of your actions or any consequences of any of your actions? It's actually astounding. These people also come into this group and they just post a lot of TikToks. They post TikToks of other estranged moms and like things that they relate to and things on here. So this next one is someone posted a TikTok that they found. And it goes like this.
The first thing you must do is self-reflect on what you did wrong and apologize with changed behavior despite their behavior. Do you know how crazy this sounds, Mel? Like, you're saying no matter what anybody else has done to you, it's got to be your fault. You need to acknowledge that it's your fault and be okay with them treating you however they treat you. I had these uncles who gave my poor nanny pure hell. They were her youngest boys, always in and out of trouble, in and out of jail. And they like to partake of adult beverages way too much. Sometimes do that and get behind the wheel of a car. Should never do that. And then they also like to take illegal substances, which were against the law, and even grew it in her home. So there were times when my grandmother would say, no more. And then they'd get mad at her and they'd go away. My poor nanny had to lock up her belongings because they would come steal from her. So I guess if she were alive now, I would sit beside her and I'd say, hey, Nanny, Mel on TikTok said no matter what those boys do to you, you need to apologize. And you need to acknowledge your behavior despite how they treat you.
This isn't this isn't the same thing, like, at all. How is that story relevant to kids going no contact with their parent? Because all I got from this story was that your uncles were taking advantage of their mother. They were not estranged. They were living in her house. They did not cut her off. She did not then get upset that her kids didn't talk to her anymore. They were still there. They were doing illegal things in her house that she didn't like, but she continued to allow them to be there. They never cut her off. And if she cut them off and kicked them out because they violated boundaries, that's also still not the same thing, because that is her setting the boundaries. That is her making the decision. That's not them cutting her off. So I don't understand how we've gotten this estranged parent conversation here, where, like, no, in this situation, no, she doesn't have to apologize for her behavior because they're the ones who are doing things. But then at the same time, you also have to look at the whole concept of, like, you know, all parents have to take some sort of accountability for their actions in their growing up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, obviously your environment has a lot of impact on your growing up and who you are as a person, and it's not entirely on your parents. But, like, I don't know the full scope of the situation. I don't know everything that went down here, but I can say that this story is not relevant at all. If the actions that your nanny committed is what caused her kids to end up like this, like if she inflicted a lot of, like, traumatic shit on them that led them down the path to, like, alcoholism and drugs because of trauma they endured, then yeah, she would have to apologize. She should need to apologize for that. But they didn't cut her off, so this is still completely irrelevant. I feel like a conversation should have been had, sure, and maybe, you know, boundaries need to be discussed and things need to be worked out. But this is so irrelevant to the story. Give me a story where people feel taken advantage of by their parents and they feel unloved by their parents and their parents cross boundaries all the time. And then they say, hey, I've had enough of having my boundaries violated, so I don't want to talk to you anymore. Then the parents have to apologize. It's about crossing boundaries. And in this case, the kids are the ones crossing boundaries, not the parent. What's your point here? This is not the same thing. And these people posting it in this estranged parents group being like, see, this is so true. This is exactly it. You don't have to apologize for your actions because sometimes your kids are little shits. I'm like, but you're not going through the same thing here. You going no contact with your kids is different to your kids going no contact with you. It's not the same. It's not the same. Just don't act like it's the same, because it's really not. The graduation, the new job, the wedding, the new baby. So many of us experience these life events of our sons and daughters within the estrangement, and it's often an awful time. We can get stuck into ruminating and thinking, crying and being angry. I think it's natural to do this, be like this, and I sense we all learn our own map through these losses attached to estrangement. It's a huge loss to not attend a wedding of a son or daughter, and I sense we know it's coming. Our body, mind, and soul start the mourning process beforehand. It's a way of processing, releasing, the upcoming loss, and it's often mixed with imagining we might be there too, I suspect, and what it would look like to be a part of it all, dreaming and thinking into the event. I didn't find out about weddings of my daughters until afterwards. 2 times. It was certainly a shock. I didn't know it all. There's some ways to assist in the processing of an upcoming loss. Journal all your thoughts out. Give yourself allocated time to sit and really think and immerse into those thoughts and feelings around it all, a specified grieving time. Learn and practice emotional release techniques. Train your thoughts to think of something else instead. Use healthy distractions to give yourself a break when you can. Ruminating can really get a hold of us, and it's useful to practice being in charge of your thoughts and the ways you choose to think within a ruminations framework. And we do need to think about it too. Get immersed in the misery of it at times. Learning to do all of this consciously and truthfully with no self-judgment of fears is a big piece of personal growth work. Huge. Much love. I am so unbelievably curious to know what you did that led to 2 of your daughters not telling you they were getting married. Like something had to go down to lead to this situation. I love that none of these mothers ever provide any context, obviously. They're never going to tell us what led to the instance that means their daughters don't tell them when they're getting married. But also I love this in particular being like, you can tell they're moving away, they're drifting away. You can feel that they're just going to leave, that they're going to cut you off, that they're going to go estranged. So you should start journaling, start processing that loss, start letting them go. Why don't you have a conversation? Why don't you reflect on what you've done? Like, do some journaling, but in that journaling, maybe reflect on what they've told you, reflect on your own actions, and try to sort of figure out what it may be. Like, not all the time are these things communicated to you. Like, sometimes your kids don't tell you why exactly they are going estranged and why they're drifting apart, because it's like just gonna cause a fight. You know, like if you bring up that your parent is hurting you, they will just yell at you. They will tear you down. They will be like, how dare you make me feel guilty? I can never do anything right, blah, 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 blah. And so you just kind of go, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to bring it up. And they start distancing themselves. But maybe you should like sit back and like reflect on that a little bit, you know, have that sort of insight and understand, like maybe think about the ways that you talk to your child and how they treat you and how you treat them, and just like circle back, do like a chain of events in your head, like wonder where this started, reflect on your actions, reflect on your relationship. I just find it so interesting that, I mean, maybe they do that. It's just interesting that so many of these people like just refuse to see the way their actions and their words affect the people around them, because they are so used to victimizing themselves. Whenever people bring up and try to say, hey, what you're doing hurts me, they get upset and are like, how dare you say that because that hurts me, and then just ignore every other problem. I feel like that's potentially the situation. A lot of these is these parents do genuinely believe that they are victims because they refuse to believe how their actions will hurt other people, and it's only the way that they are treated that matters. And so suddenly in this situation, they're like, I don't understand what I did wrong. I've been perfect. I've been great. I don't know why they're doing this. And then they end up here being like, I can feel my child leaving, but there's nothing I can do because I'm perfect and they're just weird and ungrateful and they just don't love me for God knows why. They've never told me anything. And it can't be because every time they try to tell me, I yell at them and make them feel bad and manipulate them for being mad at me. That can't be it. Like, I promise you that if both of your daughters cut you off and they get married without telling you, it is something that you did. Something that you did or something that you enabled. Like maybe you didn't do anything yourself, but maybe you allowed your partner to abuse them their entire lives and that you stood by while you watched that happen. Like then technically you didn't do anything, but the problem was that you didn't do anything. You know, instances like that. Like just think about it, because I promise you, you have done something to lead to this as the result. And refusing to take accountability for it doesn't actually stop that from being true. If you want your daughters to come back into your life and you want your daughters to tell you when they're getting married and having babies, etc., you have to take accountability for your actions and then, show change and growth because you've done something at some point, and likely not done something at some point. You have acted a specific way for like most of their lives. Curious what everyone else has done with the photos and drawings from their no-contact kids. I gave my ex-husband all my scrapbook photos and only kept a small box of loose photos, which I wonder if I should even keep them. I still have a small collection of letters to Santa, projects they did. I really don't have any hope my children will ever talk to me again. Should I relieve my house of these depressing items? The fact to me that you're even considering throwing out these things is wild to me. Like, I can't believe you are considering throwing out all remainders of your children. Whether they're gonna talk to you again or not shouldn't matter. Like, they are your children. You are meant to love your children. You are meant to love your children unconditionally. The condition of loving your children shouldn't be that they have to love you in return. And the fact that you are considering just throwing away all remnants, like everything remaining of your kids just because they don't talk to you, says enough about you to why I understand why they don't talk to you anymore. You don't even have to like look at them regularly. The idea you want to like rid your life of them completely is wild. I can almost guarantee that your kids definitely will have like a photo of you somewhere. Whether they talk to you or not, they don't want to forget you. Mind you, actually, I don't know the situation. This may have been like a horrific abuse type situation. I don't know what's happened. Maybe they have. But the reason they stop talking to you is because of trauma that you have caused and hurt that you have caused them. And I think that, you're the one who brought them into the world. They don't owe you unconditional love, etc. They can do what they like. But you, however, are meant to love your kids unconditionally. And you clearly fucked that up already, and then not wanting to remember them and get rid of it because they hurt you? Did you love your kids at all? Like, that's wild to me. I don't understand this at all. Like, I am someone who very much just like looks at everything that's happened in my life and like everything and everyone is important. I don't delete photos. I have 130,000 photos on my camera roll because I don't delete photos ever. I just don't. I just kind of keep all of my photos. And like even up on like my Instagram and stuff, all my photos of like exes and things, they're all still there because like regardless of whether I am still involved with them or not, it doesn't matter. They were a part of my life. They are a part of who I am as a person. I am who I am because of the relationships I've had in the past. They're all important. I've deleted photos of my abuser and that's it. That's just because it's triggering to see photos in just a very real and horrible way. Everyone else is still up. It doesn't matter how the relationship ended or whatever. There are still photos of people who treated me incredibly poorly that I have up because like that was just a part of my life. They are a part of who I am and I don't want to hide that. I like remembering that. I still have like photos. I have hundreds of photos on my phone of like exes and things like because it's a part of who I am. And that's like relationships I was in for like less than a year. And you want to delete all the photos of your children? Your children. What's wrong with you? Oh my God, that makes no sense to me. That astounds me. That upsets me so much. And someone commented on this as well. I was coming down the stairs one day and as always saw my kids' graduation pictures hanging in the hall. In that moment, I decided that was the last time I was going to walk through my home and allow pictures of people who do not love me to hang on the walls. I took every picture of them out of my home and packed them away. But that wasn't enough because I knew they were still there. After several months of prayer and meditation, I decided to get rid of them. I built a fire in my outdoor fire pit and burned every picture I had of them. It felt like a weight of rejection and pain fell away. I redecorated my home and I love it. No more painful memories around a corner or down the hall. I have no hope of reconciliation and I'm not interested in renewing a relationship with them. I know this may seem to some of you, but I don't regret it. My husband, their father, supported me. I wouldn't have done this if he said no. I'm sorry, you took all the photos of your kids in your home and you burned them? You lit them on fire and let them just burn because you don't want any memory of them for specifically the reason that they don't love you? You want to completely erase all memory of your children because you don't think they gave you enough love. That says all that I need to know. That says all that I need to know. There are some situations in which I will like understand not wanting to have anything to do with your kids. And that is in extreme situations of like if one of your kids like rapes and murdered someone. Not even needing the murder part. Actually, if one of your kids committed like an atrocious crime and violated someone, then yeah, I would understand you not really wanting to have anything to do with them. And I understand that that would fucking suck. However, because you're in this group in particular, and because of the way you worded it, where you were just like, I feel rejected, I know that that's not the case. And I know this comes from a purely selfish place of you being like, my kids don't love me, so I don't love them. I don't want anything to do with them because they didn't do for me enough. They didn't do what I wanted of them. And ma'am, that's why your kids don't love you. That's why they don't talk to you. Because you expect them to give you everything you want. You think they owe you things. You want them to be a specific way and a specific type of person. And you don't treat them with love, but you expect them to give you love. What you do is not love. It's not respect. It's just you doing things to receive things in return. And yeah, I doubt they want a relationship with you anyway. So, you know, I cannot believe you would sooner burn all trace of your children than like acknowledge that you might be the problem. This is someone asking questions to a therapist who helps children who are estranged or helps them go no contact or whatever. This TikTok is really, really long. It's like 7 minutes long. So I'm just going to talk about like a couple of points on here. Now, I am not a therapist, obviously. However, I have spent most of the past decade in therapy. So I know what it is like to be therapized. I've had, I don't know, 5, 6 therapists in the past 10, 11 years. So like I've gone through enough of them. I sort of know the whole deal. So I feel like I can have some sort of input into this conversation despite not being a therapist. Okay. Anyways, let's watch.
Children are purposely removing themselves from the...
All right, let's get into this. Go watch her whole video if you want to. I would like to know from this doctor, and I say it that way because I don't know. Anybody can say anything on here. I can say I'm a doctor. I can make up a certificate. What I'm going to do is read a list of questions to her as a therapist that I hope she takes into consideration, and that I hope other people who are going to therapists who are more than willing to push this no contact idea will take into consideration. As a therapist, do you teach the adult how to communicate, or do you push no contact?
My therapist didn't even tell me to leave my abusive boyfriend. Like, therapist's job isn't to tell you what to do. A therapist isn't going to sit there and tell you, you need to stop talking to this person. You should cut contact. You should leave. You should go no contact. That's not what a therapist does. That is not their purpose. That is not what a good therapist will do. Therapists aid you in coming to the decision that is best for you. They can have their own opinion, but they don't express that. That's not what a therapist is there for. A therapist is there to help you come to your own conclusions, to help you understand your own desires and what you think is best for you, and then to enact that in the way that is going to cause you the least amount of emotional stress. That is their job. They guide you. They sit there and they ask you questions and make you process and think about your own thoughts and your own actions and what you want, and help you get to where you want to go, but they don't insert themselves. That's not what they do. So no, a therapist is not pushing no contact. A therapist is encouraging communication, and a therapist is helping you enable like tools. And if you say, I want to go no contact, but I'm scared of how to do it, they will help you come up with a plan to do that. They will support you in what you want to do, and they will make sure that you feel certain about that.
Number 2, do you realize that you are working with one side of a complex story that normally has a lot of nuances and context that you may be missing?
That doesn't matter. That truly, just genuinely doesn't matter. If one person is being hurt, that's all that matters. If someone comes into therapy and is like, I am being hurt, this is emotionally distressing, I am depressed, my life is falling apart, I don't know what to do in this situation, I want to cut my parents out of my life because they are causing me harm. My mother is upsetting me and I don't want this to be happening anymore and I need to get away. It does not matter what the other side of the story is. All that the therapist's job is to help you, their patient, do what is best for you and get you into a better emotional state. It doesn't matter the other side of the story. None of that matters. What matters is that I am hurt. I am in distress. It doesn't matter what the other person is doing. It doesn't matter what the other person is experiencing. They can get their own therapist. My mother can have her own therapist. This is my therapist. If she's not happy with the way that I'm dealing with this, she can see her own therapist and she can come to me with whatever her therapist is saying and we can have a conversation. But this is my therapist and they're helping me with what I want and with what I need. That is their job. What the other person is experiencing is not, it's not my therapist's job. I don't pay £100 an hour. I don't pay £100 per session for my therapist to be like, but have you considered your mother's side of the story? What is she going through? How does your mother feel? Like, that's not what this is for. I actually even retract that previous statement. Your therapist does ask, how is this impacting the other person? How do you think this is going to impact the other person? Because they are trying to help you make the best decision for yourself. And sometimes that includes thinking about how it's going to impact other people. They want you to take in to account like the entire situation and look at what's going on, because they don't want you to make a decision that is going to make the situation worse or cause you more emotional distress. You know, like, I'm an empath, so my therapist is going to be asking like, how is this other person feeling? How is their reaction going to impact you? How is it like you look at the big picture. They do help you paint a big picture to come to decisions and make the best decision for yourself and what is going to bring you the most peace and help your mental health in the best way. You only get one side of the story, but my side of the story is what is impacting me personally. And my therapist is my therapist. They are going to help me.
Number 9, do you teach the difference between what you call minimizing their pain? And do you teach them that every single person within this scenario has their own context of the scenario and or the event and their own pain? So in other words, are you asking the person on your couch how they may have actually caused pain for their parent? And do you ask them, the person on your couch, have you minimized the impact that this has had on your parent? Have you minimized their pain?
So this kind of goes back to the point I just had before, right? This isn't about the parent. This is my therapist. They're not here to be my parents' therapist. I am not here to be my parents' therapist. My job is not to do what is best for my parent. My job is to do what is best for me. My therapist's job isn't to do what is best for my parent. My therapist's job is to do what is best for me. I am coming with my pain. I'm getting help with my pain. What my parent feels is irrelevant because what they've done has made me feel this pain, which I am now getting help for. If I've caused them pain, they can go get their own therapist and talk about it. We're in the same boat. We've both caused each other pain. All right? This is my therapist helping me with my pain. Is your therapist being like, have you hurt your child? You know? And like, yes, okay, those are important conversations to have. And a lot of the time that will be brought up. They do try to get you to look at the other side. However, the most important thing is always going to be yourself and how to better the situation for yourself. It is going to be learning to communicate and having these conversations. It is helpful to acknowledge how you may have hurt your parent because having that sort of understanding is really helpful. And like sometimes that like reason that you've upset your parent may be that, you know, you've just expressed that you're upset and that has hurt them. And that is not justified, but it is the truth. And a good therapist will help you sort of come to this and try to help you understand your parent because understanding your parent, where they're coming from, helps you understand your own pain and how to go forwards with handling it. So yes, they do sit there and they do talk about how you may have impacted your parent because it's helpful to understand the situation. But at the end of the day, ultimately, my therapy is about my pain. And if my parent is hurting, they can get their own therapist. Honestly, if they got their own therapist earlier, a lot of this might not be happening. A lot of people are estranged from their parents because their parents needed therapy and never got it.
Number 10, when you have this person on your couch, do you actually ask them about receipts for their origin story as a therapist, or do you just run with your answers to what you hear? So what do I mean by that? What if it isn't true? What if this person is legitimately using you to legitimize themselves and it's just one big dramatic line of shit?
If my therapist ever asked me for receipts, I would drop her so fast and I would try to get her license revoked because what the fuck? She's not a lawyer. She's a therapist. You shouldn't have to prove your story to get help with something. Like, imagine if I walked into therapy and I was like, hi, I'm here because I have trauma and I want to talk about my trauma and I need you to help me get through that and work through it. I was abused and I need to talk about what that entailed and what that experience looked like and I need to help me through that. And she just goes, so do you have proof? God, imagine having to prove your abuse to your fucking therapist. That is unreal. That is unreal. You have to have trust with a therapist. That's how it works. If they're asking you to prove it, they're not a good therapist at all. It doesn't matter. The other side, it doesn't matter. Hurt is hurt. And the way things impact me are going to impact someone else differently. And even if I am manipulating the situation, I clearly have been hurt regardless. Like, if I am manipulating the situation, I obviously still need help to some degree. There's a reason that I am paying £100 per session. Like, I'm not just throwing £100 a week away just for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for a reason, and maybe I'm seeing the situation through a different lens than someone else would, but that's okay because it's me who's experiencing it, and this is how I'm experiencing it. And it's wild to me that these parents can sit here and be like, you're lying to your therapist. Your therapist is only saying these things because you're lying to her. It's like, no, that's not how this works. People aren't just lying to their therapist for the hell of it. People who are lying about their situation aren't going to therapy. You okay? Oh my God. Oh my God. No one is lying to their therapist. And if they are, it's not in the ways that you think that they are. Not about this shit. And also, how is that going to benefit them? Just having someone validate their experience and validate their pain for what? Like, clearly they weren't getting validation anywhere else. So anyway, she goes on for like 5 more minutes. So I'm going to stop here because I don't want to listen to her talk anymore. We're going to move on to another one, which is another TikTok that someone uploaded from this woman named Mum's True Tea.
If I hear one more adult child say, we didn't ask to be here, but you are. So now what are we going to do? How we're going to move through this journey since you are here. Some of us didn't ask to be parents, but we are, and we deal with the cards that were dealt. Good, bad, or indifferent. So let's also throw that away in 2025. We didn't ask to be here, okay? Because if you didn't ask to be here, you wouldn't be here. And you damn sure wouldn't be here to be able to say that dumb shit.
She really thought she did something with this. She really thought she did something. But like, ma'am, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. We didn't ask to be here. Oh, but if you didn't ask to be here, then you wouldn't be here. So you should be grateful. Nope, that's the point. Is that if we weren't here, we would have no concept of being here. We can't be upset at the idea of never having been born because we wouldn't have been born to have the knowledge of our own existence. You know, it's like, I understand it's a difficult concept to grasp, but me not having ever been born would mean that I have no concept or awareness of being alive. So there's nothing wrong with me being like, I didn't ask to be here. You brought me into the world. And you're like, yeah, and you should be grateful. For what? Why should I be grateful? Like, have you given me a reason to be grateful? Like, it doesn't make sense. Well, some of us didn't ask to be parents, and yet you are. That comes with responsibility, though. That comes with being a parent. That comes with you having to look after another person and love another person. You have to raise a person into an adult. That is your job as a parent. You owe a child everything because you are the one who brought them into the world, whether you asked for it or not. A child has no say in literally anything. They have no power at all. If you neglect a child, what can they do? Nothing, but they die. You know, like if you don't do the things that are required of you, your kid suffers. Whereas if there should be nothing required of a child. I just recently heard my estranged daughter was in a car accident. I've not been notified and probably won't be. I don't know any details or if everyone is okay or not. This is exactly why these kids need to let stuff go. My kid needs to get over it and forgive me so that I know when they get hurt. This isn't about you. This isn't about you. That's literally the whole point. I love being like, my kid was in a car accident and I don't even know if they're okay. This is why they need to forgive me. This is why they need to just get over it. Because how else am I meant to know if they're safe? That's what you care about in this situation? Not even that your kid was in a car crash, but just that you weren't told about it? Like, this is the problem. The selfishness of these parents is unreal. I understand that you want to know these things about your kid, but you have not earned that right. You have pushed them to a point where they don't want you a part of their life anymore, and you have to respect that. You think that you deserve to know just because you're their parent, and I understand that. However, what have you done to be worthy of that? You know, like, is the reason you want them in your life purely for selfish purposes? Because it's feeling like you're making this all about you when your kid was just in a car crash. Your kid was just in an accident. And you're like, this is why they should forgive me so that I know when they're hurt. Or you should just want to be a good parent for them. Making everything about you is just not the move. It's not going to help. And like every single one of these parents say things and admit to like why their kids don't talk to them and then turn around and like, why don't my kids talk to me? It's like, gee, I wonder. You sound pretty selfish to me. And that's like every single one of them. It's astounding. Sorry, I'm locked in anonymous and can't find the way to post in my profile, lol. I find that hilarious because if I was the person who posted this, I wouldn't want to have my face attached to it. So I don't know if I believe you. You'll find out why in a moment. Okay, let's go. I did something that I am ashamed of. Kind of happy I did such an irrational thing. I went over to my dad's house and he had a Christmas card and pictures that were sent by my estranged daughter, who won't let me see my grandson. And there it was. My grandson's picture was on my dad's coffee table. It made my adrenaline spike and I couldn't stop shaking. Here's the confession. I took all the photos and Christmas cards. My dad wasn't home. That's worth mentioning again. I put the photos and cards in my tote bag, went home, and threw them into a dumpster near my house, and I swore and screamed and cried. I may have put unintentionally an Italian curse upon her whole family. I'm so full of rage and hatred. Before this happened, I was an outgoing, happy person and enjoyed being a teacher. That woman is gone forever. Oh my God. The absolute just immaturity of these people who then turn around and are like, why don't my kids love me? Like, bro, I read this and I thought she was going to take the photos and put them in a tote bag and take them home. She was going to store them in a box. She's never seen like a photo of her grandson before. And I thought she was just going to sit there and she was going to cry about them, put them in a box, like a secret shame box, and every now and then pull it out and just like cry about what she lost. She stole these photos just to throw them in the dumpster? Are you kidding? Oh my god. Oh my god. You stole photos of your dad's grandkids and great grandkid. You stole that from him, and just to throw it away? And now I wouldn't be surprised if your dad didn't talk to you. You know, you've lost your kids and your father, because that's fucked up. This is just like, you have the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old. Like, this is why your kid doesn't talk to you, because you don't know how to handle emotions or communication or anything. This is selfish. This is you just doing something because you feel like it. It is completely irrational, and you did it just because you were hurt in the moment. You didn't think about it for a second. You just thought about what would make you feel good for 5 seconds. And you're like, I'm just so angry. I used to be so happy and outgoing before this. You deserve the pain. I don't even know what you did, but I know what you did was fucked up. You hurt your kids, and they don't talk to you for good reason. I don't even know the reason, but I know that to be true. I know it in my bones. I have just found that there are plenty of people in the world that would love to have a mother or grandmother figure in their life. If my biological child does not want to be a part of my life, I'm just going to find somebody else that loves and appreciates me for who I am. I found plenty of people to give gifts to this Christmas. I love just admitting your selfishness. Just right there. Like, admitting you're being selfish in a post trying to praise your own selflessness is absolutely hilarious. I love being like, I want to be a mother for someone because I can get love and admiration for it. Not even that, like, I want to give love to people that don't have it elsewhere. It's not I want to be a mother to someone who doesn't have one because they deserve to be loved. It's I want to be a mother to someone because they will love me. And you didn't even clock it. Didn't even notice. You didn't even notice that in this post you straight up were just like, I'm a selfish person. I deserve love. No one else deserves it more than me. I am kind to people because then they give me things in return. That's what you said. That's what you sound like. And you didn't even realize. That's why your kids don't talk to you. This is a comment on a post that I'm not going to read because it's a bit too intense and personal. But it says, so sorry, I'm not sure I would survive that. Fortunately, my estranged son is an adult and I still send that once a month text from a different number each time, just to say I'm still here waiting for him. My heart bleeds for you. No answer, no advice, just feeling your pain. I'm sorry. Once a month, you send a text to your estranged son from a different number? And you think that that's a good thing? That's so creepy. That's stalker behavior. That's so creepy. Getting a new phone number every month to send a text to your son being like, I'm still thinking of you. That's so weird. Please just respect a boundary. If your son doesn't want to talk to you, please respect that. I promise he's not grateful for this. He's a little bit freaked out and he doesn't appreciate it. Because it's really fucking weird to do. Please don't do that. The biggest motivation of my estrangement to heal is coming to terms with the evil this estrangement movement is rooted in. Social media has brought to the surface the true depth of hatred and intentional harm the EA community wants. I don't think they ever intend to show their hand, but they can't help themselves as parents stand up for themselves. One of the definitions of psychopathy is causing harm to others without any emotional concern or remorse. Sadism is taking pleasure in harming others. Now, I have to apply that to my daughter, who has knowingly caused me so much pain and trauma. Is she really mentally ill? I don't know. What I do know is that she is not the person I raised. I had to separate the child from the now existing adult she is. She has chosen this evil movement. Do I want this evil in my life? If she returns and can't acknowledge the harm she has caused me, do I even trust this person? I don't know. If I don't reject this evil inflicted on me, what will happen to my well-being and health? The bottom line is, I would not willingly ingest this hatred from anyone else. Why am I willing to receive it from someone that I thought I knew but don't? Why am I willing to sacrifice myself on an altar of self-destruction for someone who won't sacrifice anything for me? The trauma hurts deeply and the wound will not heal easily for any of us. But the option of not healing is a slow death that should be our destiny. Stand up, reject the evil, remember the love, find purpose in the future. Oh my God. Oh my God. So many of these people blame social media for everything, because social media is a lot of people being like, I stopped talking to my mother because they were doing this and it was hurting me and I stood up for myself, and that included not talking to her. And these people see it and they go, evil. It's evil. My daughter is setting boundaries because the internet told her that it was healthy to set boundaries. That's evil. Like, I'm sorry that you were hurt, but like the hurt you are getting is from someone setting boundaries for themselves because you violated them. You were causing pain. Someone came in and was like, I'm not taking that anymore. And then suddenly they're the bad guy? Please reflect for a moment. This is insane. This entire post is like, it's so over dramatic. I need you to like take a breath and like read everything you just said and just reflect. All these parents need to do is reflect, but they won't because they like are looking at themselves in such a like weird, twisted way, and they're viewing their children in such a weird, twisted way as well. And that's why they're all in this group. They're all in this group validating each other for being bad people. And it's astounding. This is someone putting on clown makeup and it says, my parent is responsible for my well-being, so I begged to borrow money. Now they are in my business, so I went no contact and won't be paying them back. And that's a clown. And to that I say, you can offer support without being in their business. You can offer financial support or any sort of support without invading their privacy and invading their space. You can still view them as an adult whilst providing them with the support that they need. There is this thing that's called trust. And when you completely invade their space and take over their lives and butt into their business all the time, you are saying that you don't trust them. Like, you can lend your child money and allow them to make the decision that they need to make with that money without then making it your concern, because it's not. Like, in my personal situation, my mom paid the first 6 months rent in the first flat that I lived in, which is incredible. That's amazing. She paid that first 6 months because we needed a 6-month advance on it. And I am so forever grateful for that. And that did not involve her coming in and butting into my business or being any more involved than she already was. Our relationship stayed exactly the same because it was something that I needed and she had and was willing to provide for me and didn't expect anything from me in exchange for that. And even if I were to pay her back, like if that was expected of me, I would have done so. And she would have just allowed me to do it at my own sort of pace and when I was able to. When I bought my car when I was 16, she paid for it and then I paid her back weekly. For every paycheck that I got, I gave her like $100 until I paid off the full $5,000 or however much it was. She didn't get any more involved in my life than she already was because she trusted me to do that. It was a decision. I needed the money to do the thing that I needed to do. She trusted that that was the best decision for me and then allowed me to work it out and to make it work for, like, there was no need for her to get further involved. I don't understand why these parents are like, if I'm going to help you, I need to be like at the number one point in your life. If I'm going to give you money, I have to be there every single step of the way and make every single decision and treat you like a child and like talk down to you because you had to borrow money off of me. So now you're like a child. And I don't understand why it works like that. Like, this is an adult. Sure, sometimes we need extra help and support, but like you can trust your child and like offer that support without being overbearing and without infantilizing them or like invading their life. It is their life. You can be a part of it without being the center of it. Yeah, I think if you are starting to micromanage your child's life because you have been supportive, they're going to be a bit upset about it because it shows that you don't trust them. And believe it or not, people like being trusted and people like being respected. And if you aren't showing either of those things, they're not going to be very happy about it. Brain scans have revealed that being ignored is neurologically similar to experiencing a mental breakdown and or psychosis. And someone posted that with the caption, I saw this on Pinterest. Typically, if you're sick like this, you're in the hospital and we're expected to function every day. And the funny thing about this is that's how your child felt, likely for years before making the decision to go no contact. And they likely felt this way for their childhood too. They likely felt neglected for a very long time. And they were expected to function, and you expect them to continue to take that and never call you out on it, never set boundaries, and just continue to accept it because it made you feel better about yourself. So you can't come in here and be like, we're expected to live feeling so neglected. Your kid does too, and they had it worse and for longer. These Facebook groups are all so interesting to me. They're so wild. These estranged parents and these stories like just continue to completely baffle me. The lack of accountability that so many parents take is astounding, and I will never get over it. This woman also wrote a book. I was trying to find it secondhand, but I can't find it anywhere. But if I do, maybe I'll do another video on her book because I'm so fascinated to know more about her and her story and everything because I want to see if she actually shares any of the other side. Because I'm sure she does, and I'm sure that it makes her look even worse than she already does. Before I go, I would like to say a massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons. M.A. Ping the Games, Blue Kitsune 24, Ash, Uh-Oh It's Craiglow, Phil the Duck, Jessie, Phenomenally, River, Mr. Noodle, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Lady Nutbar, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Chris, Ellie, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. And if anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/SallyCat. Click the top link in the description. For only £1 a month, you get my videos a day early and ad-free, as well as podcasts a week early. And then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, bonus mini podcasts, live streams, vlogs, and more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.